questions to ask, right? I campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yes guys, welcome back to episode 9 of Transfer Weekly, the show where I tell you all about all of the rumours surrounding Crystal Palace for players that are coming to the club and players that are leaving the club. As always, please remember to check out the shorts as you will have daily updates on everything Crystal Palace from us from Eagle Eyed Football. In this episode today, we are covering some potential players leaving. We are also going to be covering a potential Wilfried Zaha replacement and some loans. So, yes guys, let's get into it. First up today, we have Eberechi Eze. According to Team Talk, it is believed to be that the Crystal Palace midfielder has rejected a new contract from Crystal Palace. This is believed to be because of recent interest from Manchester United for the recent days, but in my opinion, I don't believe this will happen because if you read a little bit more into the article, they say that Eze was the backup to Mason Mount, and because they have now got Mason Mount, I highly doubt that they're going to be pursuing Eze any further, because if they've already got people like Bruno and Mason Mount and Eriksen, I know Eze is more than good enough to get in that team, but will he play over Mason Mount that they paid 50 million for? Probably not. Will he get in over Bruno Fernandes? Probably not. Obviously, after I've just said that, he'll want to, if he transfers somewhere, he wants to go somewhere where he play European football and somewhere where he would walk straight into that first team. And unfortunately for Man United, that is really the only place in the whole pitch that they are strong, and I highly doubt that he'll walk straight into the team over there. Honestly, I'm actually really happy that Palace are trying to tie him down the new deal, because the last few weeks we've seen what happened with Zaha gone and then potentially Michael Olise going as well and not signing a new deal. Us putting him on a new contract is going to really help us, because if we don't sell him now or next window, we're not going to be able to sell him at all. We're going to have another Wilfried Zaha situation purely because we haven't signed him on a new deal. Next season, he'll only have 1 year left on his deal, so we'd have to sell him for a cut price. Whereas if we put him on a new deal and then sold him next season, just hypothetically, we'd be getting a lot more money, and he's worth so much money that really there's no reason not to do it. Maybe even give him a release clause like what we've done with Elise, but make it a little bit higher so that that's like the minimum amount we can get for him. So if I'm honest, I don't want us to start sleepwalking into another Zaha situation purely because it's tough losing your best player for no money at all, and we could have got money for him ages ago, but we're just talking in hindsight now. But because we've got that previous experience, why not use that and not make the same mistake twice? He's definitely worth more than £50 million, and it'll be good business for the club and also for morale in the club. Tie Eze and Elise down to these new contracts. Demarai Gray, the 27-year-old Jamaican winger that currently plays for Everton, looks like he wants a move to another Premier League team. He's got lots of interest from other Premier League teams such as Fulham and Crystal Palace, which he is supposedly interested in signing for both, and closer to a Fulham move. He's currently valued at 20 million euros on Transfermarkt. However, he only has 1 year left on his deal, and the rumoured fee was for him to go to Besiktas for 15 million and now elsewhere for a lot less. His price has been slashed to about £10.5 million, roughly there or thereabouts. And for a player that's that good, that age, so he's not too old, he's only 27, so he's still got lots of Premier League experience, but he's still got room to grow, and potentially, if he's a great player for us, he could potentially have maybe 3, 4, 5 years at the club doing a good job. That it does take him for granted that we should have bought him when Everton bought him. I think they bought him for £2 million, if I remember, from Leipzig, and we were interested in him back then. So if I'm honest, maybe it's not the end of the world getting him for £10 million, but just think of what could have happened if we got him for £2 million, probably when we should have a few years ago. He's a very versatile player for that kind of price. His preferred position is left wing, but he can also play in attacking midfield and the right wing position, which means that we can shuffle our attack around, move him around to fit our other players, and we can be very dynamic in how we pick the team. We could play multiple people in multiple positions and really confuse our opponents. make it so that they don't know exactly who we're playing in what position, which is obviously good for us. He has recently switched his allegiance to Jamaica as well from England because he's not getting the game time, he's not getting a look in. However, he has been absolutely ruthless with 2 goals and 2 assists in 5 total appearances for his company. He's thriving off confidence, and that'll be a huge asset to Crystal Palace. Just as I'm recording this now, we're seeing links that Matthias Franco has signed for Crystal Palace, 17 million plus 8.5 million in add-ons. 5 million of that is a Ballon d'Or clause, so I highly doubt we'll ever see that. But if he gets that Ballon d'Or, the 5 million ain't going to mean absolutely nothing. We do also have a 20% sell-on clause, but that is a 20% sell-on clause after we've made profit. So, for example, if we sell him for £50 million, they'd only take 20% of 25 million. And I still think that we should look for Demarai Gray, even though we have got Mateus now, because we just need the more depth, because Elise is going to be injured for a little bit longer and potentially leaving the club. So having more quality in depth is never a bad thing. Let's talk about some of Gray's stats now. With 22 starts in 33 total appearances, scoring 4 goals and getting 1 assist in the Premier League alone, with 1.8 shots per 90 and registering 0.7 on target, with 5 big chances missed, 5 big chances created, registering 1.1 key passes per 90, 81% pass accuracy throughout the whole of the season, and also 1.5 per 90 throughout the whole season, which just shows how dynamic he is, how strong he is, and how progressive he is with the ball, that he becomes a threat so that other teams feel the need to foul him to get the ball off of him. Unlike Crystal Palace, he only has 1 injury in his professional career. This was an injury in 2018-2019 season where he got an injury to his ankle, and that's it. He only missed 4 games. Very unlike Crystal Palace to get a player that's not injury prone, if I'm honest, and it's quite nice. With a player of his calibre at this hugely discounted price, I think we'd be fools not to pay it, really. He wants out of Everton and he wants constant game time. He'd be a great addition to the team. He's hungry to play and he wants to play so he can get picked for the Jamaican national team again. They're there to be qualifying for the World Cup, I believe, and I think he'd fit the Palace mould. He's there, he's hungry, and I wouldn't say he's young, but he's still got a few more years left in him, and he's only got his best years to come. So if I think whether it's a Wilfred Zaha replacement so that he will be that replacement, or whether he's a rotational option or maybe potentially even a bench option, I see no downsides to this transfer. Next up, we have Scott Banks. According to Alan Nixon, Blackpool are looking to make a very ambitious bid to sign the young winger. Apparently, they are going to offer £500,000 for Banks. However, he has had 3 loans while being at Palace, and none of them have been a huge success. Probably the most successful one was his more recent loan going to Bradford City, but obviously it was halted a little bit due to injuries, unfortunately. However, I still do think that for a 21-year-old and already has 4 years of men's football experience, £500,000 is a little bit insulting, if I'm honest, bearing in mind that Palace bought him, 3 years ago now, in the 2020 season. It's because Crystal Palace purchased him from Dundee in 2020 for £300,000. And to be fair, we've been getting it, we got him in, we loaned him out 3 times now, and he's been developing himself. He's probably one of our closest prospects to the first team. And for us to get rid of him for such a little amount of money, and we've put so much effort into training him and building him up and getting him confidence and giving him loan moves, to only make £200,000 worth of profit is just absolute nonsense. If you read a little bit further into what he's saying, is that he's also got some championship clubs wanting him on loan. Me personally, I think the championship club will be the better fit for him, purely because he'll get better experience, and let's say he has a half good season, his £500,000 valuation from Blackpool will double, triple, maybe even quadruple for how well he plays. And we know he's a good player in there. It's just the injuries that is really the concern when it comes to Scott Banks. Other than that, he'll get good experience on loan, and I think that's the same thing for Jezrat Saki. If he gets a championship loan and does well, then that's his next step towards the first team. But all in all, Palace are not selling Scott Banks for 500k. No way. Lastly, on this episode, we have Luke Plange. Alan Nixon has also reported that Luke Plange is wanted by Carlisle United, and it's 100% going to be a loan. It's not going to be a permanent move. I think that they're looking at loaning strikers from us since they loaned John Kamani Gordon from us, and they got promotion. He had a very successful loan spell there. Didn't score many goals, but I know he scored in his debut 100%, and he was actually a very good player over there. Some Carlisle fans really wanted him back, but they got Luke Plange instead. It's nice to see that we're sort of developing a relationship with these lower down clubs, that we can send our loan players over there, and they will get game time and they will get experience if they are good enough. He's currently spending pre-season with the under-21 squad in Salt Lake in America, and he's picking up good experience from there, developing his skills, and I hope it's the push that he needs to go to the next level, because if he goes to Carlisle, I think this is probably, I wouldn't say it's his last chance, but he needs to really get his act together with this move. Just as I was editing this, it's just been confirmed that Luke Plange is going to Carlisle. Obviously, I hope he has a good time there. It is a very long way away, but he really needs to knuckle down and focus on his football, and I'm sure if he does well, he may get a chance in the first team next season. He's only going on loan until January, so he'll be back in the January transfer window. So let's see what happens with Luke Plange. Well, yes, guys, as I said, as I was recording this and editing this, I just seen that Mateusz França has signed for Crystal Palace, and all of his family are saying good luck at Crystal Palace. And he said goodbye to all his teammates and his friends. I think that it wasn't meant to come out like this, but oh well, it is what it is. We've actually signed a player. And even though potentially we've spent so much money on Franca, I really doubt that he's going to jump straight into this first team. Remember, he is only 19, and it is some absolutely massive shoes for him to step into. We've also seen some rumours on Palace looking to make a deal with Leeds for Somerville and maybe Nonto at the same time. We're sort of going to need this because we want to refresh our forward line, because really our only three strikers are Ayew, Mateta and Edouard. It's good to see that Hodgson is planning to look forwards, and he's also said in a presser earlier on today that we've only replaced one player of our leaving five, so we've still got some more business to do in this transfer window. Honestly, it's all been very doom and gloom the last few weeks, and we've all been very down about ourselves, thinking, oh, we're favourites to go down. But just seeing one transfer and then being told by the gaffer that we are still looking for players just raises your spirits a little bit more. And for the other rumours that are coming around, it's making me very excited, especially the Nonto and Somerville one. If we can somehow get them both done, that would be absolutely incredible for Crystal Palace. And also strengthening in key positions, such as fullback potentially. But that's all for another episode. Guys, thank you very much for watching. This is JC from Eagle Eyed Football. Remember to put in the comments below who you want me to cover next week. And yeah, up the Palace. Eagles!